you win, and that is our guarantee. Okay, we're going to keep coaching you. We're going to keep giving you updates to new programs. We're going to keep supporting you until you hit that $15,000 mark. I am the only person in this industry that can offer a guarantee like this, because I'm the only one who can actually verify how much money you're making through WAP. Okay, this is a two-way street. Okay, there needs to be trust on both sides. So I am the only person who can ever offer a guarantee like this. Okay, because we can actually verify and we can see on both sides that we're upholding, both of us are upholding our sides of the bargain. As I said, we can literally verify every number in real time. And that is why we can offer such a ridiculous risk-free guarantee, because we know that this works and we can prove that it's working for you. So really, you only have two options. Either you succeed and you make at least $15,000, in which case, like, we've done our job, or we keep working with you until you do. There really is no way to lose. And in addition to that, your investment is protected by a 7-day money-back guarantee, meaning that for whatever reason, if you don't like anything you see inside Monetize, you have 7 days to get 100% of your money back. All you need to do is email support@monetize.com and ask for a refund, and we'll get it processed with no questions asked within 24 hours. That is our promise. With this, I am literally taking out all the risk, okay? All the risk is on my side. You don't have any risk on your end today. By the way, if you have any issues checking out, just a heads up, my team will actually reach out to you within 5 minutes through the contact information you fill out on the checkout page. So if you get an SMS or you get a WhatsApp, don't worry. You know, it's not some random stranger. That's my team, okay? If you've actually checked out, okay? So if you're going through the checkout process, you're having issues for whatever reason, my team will be on standby there to help. Now, before we keep going, a warning for the ones talking shit about the people who are committed to building an abundant life and becoming ungovernable through their online business. Pay attention. I know my words might sound too good to be true sometimes. And the results I show here, how simple I make things sound, I've made it very clear at the beginning of this challenge already. This will not make you rich overnight. I've made this very clear. You will not have the same results as I've had and the other people I've shown you here today in a matter of days. You won't, of course not. But I'll give you the knowledge, the direction, and the tools you need to succeed, as well as the incentives you need to put in the work. How much you're going to make and how fast you'll make it is only dependent on how much effort you put into executing and making the most of the advantages that we have stacked for you inside Monetize. What I can guarantee is the following. You won't have to study for 5 years, slave away in a corporate job, or pray to get a promotion in a crowded, saturated market that, by the way, is soon going to get replaced by AI anyways. Now, let's get back to our workbook. Tonight's homework is very simple. Write down what is going to be the first distribution channel that you're going to expand to after listing your digital product on WAP. Think about all the different distribution strategies we covered today and list them down, okay? Write down each one of them on a piece of paper and split this paper into 2 columns. Then in one of the columns, write down what you like about each distribution channel. On the other column, write down the things you don't like about that distribution channel. Analyze your answers carefully. And from that, take a decision. And then from there, write down your final answers. All right. And keep this paper. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to set an alarm on your calendar for 90 days from now for you to remind you to actually come back to this paper. And I want you to stick to what you wrote down here for 90 days. If you can do that, you will be surprised how much your life can exponentially change in this 90-day period. Now, this is your commitment to yourself to make this work. And with that being said, let's go ahead and kick to your favorite part of these live sessions, which is the informal Q&A hangout session with my co-host, Jason Fladden. You already know who he is. You already know how good he is at what he does. So with no further ado, let's go ahead and welcome in Jason.
What's going on, Iman?
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Good. What do you think of today's presentation?
I mean, the Ghostwriter OS. You know, here's the deal, right? And we're going to get all back into the questions again. We're going to put the link in there. We're going to hash some stuff out because we discussed last night when we were done. We read through the chat again. We saw the feedback. We saw the areas in which we can provide clarity, and we saw areas which we can empower and help you. So we're going to go through all of that. But here was the internal dialogue on the Ghostwriter OS. It was like, how do you describe the most beautiful sunrise in the world? You could use 1,000,000 words and you wouldn't do it justice. You feel me on that? Or you could show it to somebody and say, look, and then they go, epiphany unlocked. And we cannot begin to explain how powerful of a software Ghostwriter OS is We know that if you got inside it and started playing with it, you would not need us to describe how powerful it is because it would be self-evident. So we felt, here's the two things we wrestled with internally. The first thing was like, we know there's people from the peanut gallery that are going to be like, oh, you guys talk too much. You take too long. Get to the point, right? You know, like tell me the third act before the movie even starts. Give me the punchline to the joke without the setup. So we're like, we want to be respectful and reasonable with the time. So that's part of the reason why we condensed it and didn't reveal the mystery bonuses. But the other reason is because we wanted you to experience them as an aha. But then after we settled yesterday and, you know, we signed up a whole bunch of folks and we had a whole bunch more folks showing a lot of interest. So some folks are like, I'm 83% of the way there, or I'm 92% of the way there in their mind. But they hadn't said yes yet. We're like, for those people that are having this crisis right now of should I sign up or not? We said, we think a few of them that this would help put them over the edge because a lot of the challenges were on, because I don't know if the old riddle, if a tree falls in the woods, does it make a sound? I don't know the answer to that, but a product that is never found never makes you any money. So the world's best product that doesn't have eyeballs on it makes you exactly $0. So you need both of those things. You need to have good quality products, which we solved yesterday. And most of you noticed that and signed up immediately once you understood that. And then today we solved getting the eyeballs to that. Now, did you catch the second one? I think the second one is even more important. Who you know is as important as what you know. Perhaps even more important than what you know. And because you know Iman, you get special treatment if you sign up for this program. And that special treatment is special placement. I flew over here on Emirates and I got the second deck of the plane, right? That's called special treatment. And normally you pay significant amounts of money for that special treatment. In this particular case, it's included as a free bonus when you sign up for the program. So that is super duper valuable. Now, we didn't want to let that one out of the bag yesterday. And part of the reason why is because it then opens up this ethical crisis that some people have about fairness in the world. And let me spoil some fantasies for some of you. There is no such thing. The world is unfair. You could curse it. You could argue with it. You could get mad at it. And at the end of the day, it stays unfair. So the real question that you ask yourself is, what can I do in an unfair world to make sure I get taken care of? And that is position yourself in places where you get advantages that are good for you and are holistically valuable for other people as a result. And that's what this really truly is. Because if we have to bet on anybody to give premium placement to, we are going to bet on the first movers. We are going to bet on those that are here with us at ground zero when we get rocking and rolling. And so that's what we're doing here today. We're betting on you. So now bet on yourself, right? So joiniman.com, get started there, get signed up if you will. I was having computer problems downstairs. And so this is one of the reasons why I snuck on last minute here. I don't know what happens. I think we get the chat going too hot and too heavy. So I'm on a little phone and I have the chat right here and it's live. By the way, is this live? Is this pre-recorded? No, this is 100% live. I see the chat right here in my face. Right here. So Fatima says, question referring to who you know is better than what you know. What is the common target audience right now and WAP? Here's the answer to that. It's a great question, by the way. The answer is it doesn't matter. That's like saying, who's the common target audience on Amazon? And the answer is it doesn't matter. What matters is, am I in a place that stacks the deck in my favor as much as humanly possible in order for me to achieve the outcome that I want to achieve? Now, I just said some gold there, so run that back and write that down again. Winning in this game is putting yourself in a position to have the overall best odds to be successful, regardless of who you are and what you do. And so being in the fastest growing digital marketplace is already tipping the deck in your favor. Being a preferred customer because you got in on the ground floor tips the deck in your favor more so. Having not one, but two different software that help you and they're developed on proprietary knowledge, because you know what's better than general knowledge? Specialized knowledge. You know who gets paid more than a general doctor or a general practitioner? A special practitioner. Why do the guys that fix your knees and, enhance your boobs, why do they get paid 4 to 10 times as much as the doctor who knows more, arguably, because they take care of everybody? And the answer is specialized knowledge pays more than general knowledge. Specialized AI software runs circles around generalized AI software. This is like going to your general practitioner or your doctor and asking them to perform surgery on you. They'll kill you. It'd be better not to go to a doctor in that case. But if you need surgery, you go to a surgeon. And if you need digital products in the 2.0 phase era that we're in, you use the software that does that. Now, maybe there's some other ones out there. I don't know. I haven't tried them all. I do know you already have it right here. And for my eyes, in my ears, it's the best that I've seen. And now you have the ability to attract people with it as well. Now, here's a good point to that. And then I'm going to get back to some of these questions. If that software was so good for creating digital products, why did we need to build another one? Because they serve two separate functions. And this is the biggest mistake. First of all, 76% of people still don't use AI in their business at all. So if you think that everybody knows this, it's amazing when you get out there, right? This is what I always tell my kids when I'm joking around with them. I say, you know what the most common name in the entire world is? And they're like, John, James. And I'm like, not even close. Muhammad is the most common name in the entire world. And I said, how many people you know named Muhammad? Because we don't know too many people where we live in France and when we lived in LA. But that's the point that I always impress upon them. Just because your reality seems to be true doesn't mean that it is reality. And so the reality is most people aren't using AI yet. They will be. I just saw a thing that was posted right before I came up here. Duolingo is replacing its employees now with AI first. And I mean, they're kind of a small, little, gigantic, big billion-dollar plus company. And so if the big guys are doing it, why aren't we also doing it? But most people aren't. And secondly, those in the minority who are using AI, they are using generalized AI. They are not using proprietarily specialized trained AI. And if they are, they're using it like a Swiss Army knife, okay? They're trying to make it do everything. And guess what happens? You know, here's the thing. You try to ride one horse, you might get somewhere. And you say, well, if I ride two horses at the same time, I'll get there twice as fast, right? No, you will fall on your ass and you will piss off twice the amount of horses, right? Two horses doesn't get you there twice as fast. Two horses doesn't get you there at all. So we don't want to have one AI do 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 separate functions. We have one AI for the content to create for people that pay for it. And then we have another AI for the content that gets them there in the right state of mind to pay for it. And that's where that 1-2 punch is everything.
I mean, listen, that's like creating a physical product. I mean, like, well, I created a physical product. Like, why do I need to get customers now? It's like, well, that's just a part of it. Business is simply create a product and get sales. Okay. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to basically have a done for you solution where your product is created for you, done, click a few buttons, easy. Now, are we saying that the first product is going to be a winner? No, it might take some time. But who cares? You know, as long as it doesn't cost you any extra money, as long as you're not burning through thousands and thousands of dollars, and to get extra physical stock that may or may not work, who cares? Maybe it might be your first, it might be your third, it might be your seventh, it might be your 17th. It doesn't matter as long as you can keep pulling this lever and it keeps spitting out digital products, and eventually one will work. Okay. Now that creates your product for you. The reason we created Ghostwriter OS is because I didn't want anyone to be like. Because I even kind of started to see it yesterday, and that's actually why we wanted to include it in today's conversation. Today's topic is I had some people say, well, the product's been created, Synthesize creates a product, but like, how do I get sales? Okay, well, we just showed you how to get sales. Premium distribution, okay, on a marketplace, the top marketplace in the world for digital products. Now, as Jason said, when you fly a plane, you can fly economy, you can fly first class, okay? Obviously, you get different sort of treatment. Same thing. Here you're going to get a different sort of treatment. Okay, you can have a regular green, basic state-of-the-art Amex, or you can have a black Amex. Okay, you're going to get different sort of treatment, and that's exactly what you're getting here. Okay, with us and through this premium placement through the monetized tab on WAP's marketplace. But then outside of that, I didn't want people just to rely on that. So I'm like, okay, well, how do we create software and tools? We understand that. Listen. WAP is amazing. WAP is currently, earning people $2 to $3 million a month in distribution through distribution through the marketplace. But there's this huge, massive market of Google, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, and if people can tap into that level of distribution, that's where you really like 10x, 100x things, right? But I also understand you guys don't want to spend 5 years learning copywriting. You want to spend 5 years learning how to make viral tweets or viral videos or this or that. So how could we create a tool that does all of that for you And that's why we put Ghostwriter inside of there. And by the way, I want to make it clear, Ghostwriter OS actually isn't something we created. It's something that we had to spend a lot of money to be able to put into this offering. Synthesizes, our own home bread. But yeah, Ghostwriter OS is, in fact, actually, in my opinion, Ghostwriter OS is the thing that I'm even more excited about. I guess maybe that's just because I've been in this industry for many years, and I've always been pretty good with the creating product side of things. It's more like actually getting customers and sales and tapping into this level of distribution is. I understand it's so difficult for people, and it's something that really keeps people up at night. They're like, how do I get sales? I've made a product, but it's just not getting any sales. And I understand it's a treacherous process, and I understand that it's something that can really give you a lot of sleepless nights, and we want to eradicate any of those sleepless nights from you. And just one last thing that I will say, I actually forgot to put it on screen. I do apologize. Distribute is the keyword. So that is the code for today. Distribute is a password for the workbook. So distribute, all caps, is the password for the workbook.
I got a bunch of questions that I wrote down here while you were dropping some game there, Iman. That was one of them, by the way. And let's just acknowledge how powerful a digital product is, even a free one, how ravenous the audience is to want to stay small, which is how you were programmed in your DNA when you became a human being. So how do we know if that's legit? So if you're going to question us, I will take the questions all day long. The harder the question, the happier I am. But I also ask in return, you question some of these beliefs that you have right now that hold you back, because not all of them are true. Which one of yours isn't true? I would love to know the answer for that. I'm going to give them the Deca, and then I want to kick it back over to you, Iman, if you wish to. So once upon a time, about 2015, we figured out Amazon's algorithm. We said, hey, how does Amazon know to put this cutting board in position 1 when you search for cutting board, this one in position 2, 3, 4, 5, right? By the way, best place to hide a dead body is on page 2 of Amazon search results, because nobody will find it there, right? So being at the top of the algorithm is very important. So we went to work and we cracked the Amazon algorithm, and we cracked it so effectively to our few thousand users that we taught it to, that Amazon changed its entire fabric of its algorithm, because we were so good at breaking the most profitable brand to ever exist on the entire internet, and one of the first ever $1 trillion valued corporations that exist. That's the power of a small group of dedicated individuals. We don't crack safes, we crack algorithms, right? So Iman's been at it, cracking the WAP algorithm. Hanging out with us, we will drop the gems inside of Monetize on what that looks like, okay? And that is power. Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, go.
Like if there's agencies out there that charge $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 a month to help your SEO ranking on Amazon. Like there's agencies and service providers that are like, hey, I'm going to charge you $10,000 a month, so that way every month we're optimizing your SEO on Amazon. And there's many clients that pay that. There's many people who pay $100,000 a year to now these people, these agencies, nothing against them, but these agencies that are helping with the SEO, it's not like they have insider information. It's not like they have insider access. It's like they're looking at it and they're guessing. They don't know for a fact because they're not on the inside. Whereas, and this is actually, I guarantee this is going to start happening on WAP. I guarantee there's going to be some agencies that start popping up and start charging $2,000 or $3,000 or $5,000 a month, which once again, by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. But there's going to be some agencies that start charging $5,000 a month to help with WAP SEO and how to actually rank on the algorithm, and how to win on the marketplace, and how to make sure you appear on the first page when people search up certain keywords. And you can do that if you want. Like you can spend that $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month with those agencies, or I can just tell you, as an insider, as a co-owner of the company, like I can just tell you, because of course, like it also works in our best interest. Like we want to make sure that like we're on the same team here. That's the beautiful part, is like we're genuinely on the same team. Like I have a vested interest in your success, which is why I want to see you succeed with the marketplace, and I want to make sure that your stuff is ranking correct. And of course, same thing with Amazon. There's a certain few checkboxes that Amazon wants to see where they're like, okay, you know what? Cool. Here, we're going to give you the customers. Okay. You check these boxes. We're going to give you the customers. We're happy to give you premium positioning. It's the same thing with us. Okay. Now, without monetize, you are just going to have to play a guessing game of, I think this is what WAP wants. I think this is how, I get premium positioning. Or you can just come to us, and not only we give you the SEO insider secrets, but as I said, we have our own monetized dedicated marketplace. We have our own dedicated tab. Okay, no one else has this, where all of our monetized members will be listed. So as I said, that's really where you're going to get the premium positioning from.
That's a great point. And to that point on premium position, somebody asked, I've already been using WAP. What about me? And literally right before we hopped on this training here today, I said to Iman, I'm like, God, if we could just go to the people in WAP that are using WAP right now, they would all buy this, because even if they didn't have the software, even if they didn't have access to the training, even if they didn't have access to the bonus and anything else, they should just buy it, because it's better than paying for $1,400 of advertising. It's better than paying for $5,000 of advertising, but they won't. And there's a lot of reasons people won't. And oftentimes it's because they think they're too smart to invest in themselves. They're like, well, I'm already using WAP, so why would I want to use this? And let that be their decision, but don't let that be your decision. So if you're already using WAP and you don't have this, you are the easiest person for me to sell in the entire world, right? You are the easiest person ever. You're like the person that has a Rembrandt in the attic and like, hey, Jason, you think this is worth anything, right? I mean, that's you right now. And by the way, I've dealt with a lot of these situations that are lay down obvious usage, sign up immediately kind of situations. And I only get about 10% of those that actually sign up. 90% of people are like, well, I got to cash this check at the bank, so I don't want to go through the hassle, right? It's still hard to get the Rembrandts in the attic to buy the house that has the Rembrandt in the attic. So we do our best, but we can't get everybody. Hopefully we can get you, though. Join Iman.com if that is you. Now, the funny thing about the horses, riding two horses. Somebody said two horses work if you put them together and they pull the cart. You're right. That's why we have the two horses and the cart is monetized. All right. So we get you. We hear you. This is a very good point. I get the concept, but not the step-by-step. Good. We want to start with the big picture before we get into the details. If you ever put a puzzle together, you look at the box first, right? So you don't need the step-by-step right now in order to sign up. If it conceptually makes sense to you and you understand the value of this and financially it makes sense to you, go to joiniman.com and get started. You will get the step-by-step in the program. You will get all the details. You know, we could have came out here today and taught tactics until we were blue in the face. And by the way, easiest way to please a crowd whatsoever is to teach tactics until you're blue in the face, because people will feel like, oh, I now know what to do. I can do this cool thing over here. I can do this cool thing over there. But tactics does not a business make. You can get tactics all day long for free on YouTube, and they will teach you all sorts of really cool stuff. But if you can't apply the tactics, that's like having a piece of a puzzle but not having the rest of it. And if it's a 500-piece puzzle and you only have 26 pieces, they could be the best 26 pieces, but you will not put that puzzle together. And so this is why we didn't give you tactics, even though we knew we wouldn't win a popularity contest with the vocal masses out there who won't invest in themselves. But that's not who we do this for. So we kept it high level, but you will get the specifics. You will get everything you need to know that's important about distribution. You will get everything you need to know that's important about development. You'll get everything you need to know about delivery. Here's the thing. Teach a man to fish, he eats for a day. Or sorry, give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach him to fish, he eats for a lifetime. We're going to give you the fish while we teach you to fish. How about that? Because I don't want you fishing on an empty stomach, right? So why not both? So, you know, somebody always asks me like, hey, do I go fast or do I go big? And the answer is yes. You go fast and you go big, right? As somebody says, hey, listen, should I get started today or should I wait till tomorrow? The answer is yes, you should get started today and continue tomorrow, right? This isn't an either or decision that we're talking about here. So we will give you the details. You don't need to know them. So you will get the big picture, and can you succeed with it? Yes. Do you need to know the details? No. Would it be nice to have both of them? Of course, and then you can use them however you wish. And so that's at joiniman.com when you get access to that. Should I consider a business partner? Maybe. I have a business partner. I have a business partner in my business for 2010. So it's been 15 years that we've been in business. And I like having a business partner because I'm good at a couple things and I'm really bad at a lot of things. And so he rounds me out. Now, it's also very complicated, right? I've been married and I've had a business partner. The business partnership was more difficult than the marriage was, right? But we made it work because we're on the same page and we want the same things and we can navigate through that. For some of you, a business partnership may make the most sense in the world. I suggest that regardless of whether you have a partner or not, you should do this anyway. And then along the way, you might find a partner. Now, let me give a little bit of advice on partnerships if you want to go that route. Don't get somebody that's like you. So my business partner is good at the things I'm not, and I'm good at the things he isn't good at. And combining the two together is where the power is. So oftentimes marketers will partner with other marketers and you don't become twice as good at marketing. You become redundant. So you become half as good at marketing because you're now two cooks in a kitchen trying to slave over one stove, right? So it may make sense, but it may not. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'd love some tea. Thank you. How long is this deal available? Man, that was the question of the day. Question makes me smile. You know why? Because it shows me that you're seriously consider making this investment. And I like that, right? This offer will last at least until day 5. We're on day 3 here. So we got at least 2 more days. After that, we may keep the cart open for another day, maybe 2 more. We have not yet decided. So at the least, you have 2 days. At the most, you probably have 4 days. So you can wait. But the question is, what do you need to wait for in order to know if the decision is yes or no for you to join joiniman.com. Like, what's that one piece of information that's missing for you to make the decision? You should write that down. And then at the very least, if I.com, like, what's that one piece of information that's missing for you to make the decision? You should write that down. And then at the very least, if I can't address it, because we have 8,766 souls right here on this call right now. If we can't address it today, we'll try tomorrow. If we can't address it tomorrow, we will try it the day after. But nonetheless, if we can't address it, you should write it down and you say, what needs to be true in order for me to know that the answer is yes or no? And then from there, you can help process forward. Here's what happens with most people when they're faced with a good decision that they know that if it's the